So likely to organize itself as an array list of the Memento instances, right? So this is the Mementos, right? Storage, that kind of thing. And if we don't need to add default constructor, we basically can say, okay, just create new. Anytime the caretaker is constructed, we can create new array list of the mementos over here, just to make sure that we don't have an empty array list. So now we need the array list. And actually, this is called account memento, not memento. The account memento, right? Account memento, right there. So let's fix the imports now. What is it? Array list, like that, right? Spell it right. Java util array list. All right, looks good. So I casually use fix imports because it maintains the import list. You know, it adds what needs to be added and it removes what's no longer in use. So that's kind of, you know, nice to have something like that, right? So again, these are the data attributes of the caretaker, and this is the constructors are going to be empty operations, right? Operations that we need to support are back to the main program. So it wants to be able to store, right? It wants to be able to store the memento. Public void store memento, and we'll take account memento as a parameter. And so this method is very likely to say mementos, which is the array list over here. Add this memento that we were given, right? And then we also want to be able to undo. Right, so we want to be able to say public undo, right? Undo. And so what undo does is that the caretaker clearly needs to be able to have access to the actual item, to the actual account, right? So it's very, very likely that we're going to say checking account, right? So undo method, which is maybe a void method right now. Undo will take the checking account right, and this checking account will say most likely have a loop for account memento in the mementos that we have, mementos list, right? So what we want to do is we want to call checking account, right, restore memento. Restore memento, and we want to pass this memento instance to it. And so once we're done, very likely that we want to say mementos right, before we return. Since we consumed everything, there's nothing else to do. All the states were already reserved. So very likely that we want to say clear, right? The clear removes all elements from the list. It could be very well possible to just say, if we want to undo stuff, then that's what's going to happen, right? So we want to restore all states that were accumulated by the array list, and then there's one note here is that I should probably go in the order in which I received the mementos. So very likely, instead of iterating forward from the head of the collection, maybe I need to restructure this to go backwards. So in a second I'll make a change, but right now I just need to say that I want to ask caretaker to undo all of these operations on the account. Okay, so we can do this. So the main class seems to be happy, more or less, right? But over here, like I said, one final touch on this is that I would like to change my loop a little bit to say that I can start with an index, integer index that equals mementos size, right? Memento size. And while this index is greater than 0, something like that, as long as it's greater than 0, decrement the index, right? And then I would have to use the mementos over here, mementos, and say get, right? And say get the item which has index -1, right? That would be the way to iterate from the tail of the mementos and use the most recent one to restore first, right? So the restore the most recent one, and this loop would, allow me to do that. Just use index to iterate, and so start with the highest index. For as long as it's greater than 0, then go ahead and do this, and then decrement the index. Eventually, it's going to get to 0. So let's just let's just say system.out.print, right? So we're going to print line, and we're going to say balance and print what the account balance is, right? Print what the account balance is right there. Get what is it? 1 second. The balance in the checking account. Do I have the method? No, I'm gonna need to add the setters and getters over here. Okay, so we're gonna do that. And add the balance objects over here. I mean the balance methods over here. So we're going to basically say get balance to print the balance after the withdrawal, right? So over here, get the balance after the withdrawal, and okay, and I think we can make it more generic, but let me just say system out print line, something like withdrawal basically print the idea that this is a withdrawal happening, right? And do this a few times, right? So over here we can also say that overdraft, right, and print what the balance is. So if we do this a few times, like 3 times in a row, we should be able to see the result of the memento mechanism, the caretaker, allowing something and not allowing something. So let's just run this very quickly and just see the outcome of it. I will obviously post the sample and we'll finalize the stock. So first it says withdrawal, the remaining balance, I should have said the remaining balance over there, is $50. And then it says overdraft because my check was that the remaining balance is greater than 0. So it's already doing the overdraft that time. So not allowing to withdraw, right? So it's basically keeps it there. So we'll just finalize it on Thursday. And for now, I'll post the current version and we'll talk about it on Thursday. But this sort of like demonstrates the idea, my main constraint is that I'm trying to stay within the smallest possible sample here. So I'm thinking, I'm actually, I kind of knew that it's going to take, some time to write all this code, but it's very hard to keep it more or less realistic versus, the minimal amount of code. But that's what we have so far. So we'll post the sample and we'll proceed to finalize this on Thursday.